So there's a narrative that Carmelo Anthony is being blackballed out of the NBA. Like they trying to get him out of the league purposely and quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I can agree with those sentiments, man. I know a lot of people gonna point out that Melo is not the same player that he used to be. He's not a consistent 20-point scorer every night. He's shooting bad from three. He's not shooting that well from the field as well. I think he's shooting like barely 40%, 40% and 30% from three or something of that nature. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That team got to look itself in the mirror. If they bad like that, if they not winning, they got to look at the main guys. Because when a great team that was in a conference finals the year before, when they're not playing well, you got to look at the best player on the team. You got to look at James Harden. You got to look at Chris Paul, who quiet as kept, he's looked like he's slowly declining already on that big time deal he just signed. So you got to look at them guys too, not just him. And this is the thing. They say, well, Melo don't play no D. He don't play no D. And I'm looking like Steven Jackson, like, it's about like 15 dudes in the league that really play defense for real, for real. That really play defense possession to possession or almost every possession during the game. It's about 15 of them. You really can't name a whole bunch of dudes that lock up in the league like that. Like, y'all see a dude get a chase down block or a good steal or he intercept the passing lanes and y'all say he defensive player of the year. And we always know that a lot of steals don't equate to great defense. Allen Iverson led the league in several times in steals. He was never known as a great defender. So, and no disrespect to AI, I'm just making a point. They trying to find any way for Carmelo to be the scapegoat to say he the reason why we losing. He the reason why we not winning right now. It's got to be him, and it's been that way for a while now. Toward the end of his days in New York City with the Knicks, when he was with OKC, they pointed the finger at him. Now he with the Houston Rockets, they point the finger at him now, trying to get him to hurry up and leave and get out the league by gone and just go away in misery. And I don't respect it because he scored at least 20 points at least 4 times in the season. It's early as hell in the season. How can you determine if this guy is not playable already? People going around saying he not playable, he not playable. Meanwhile, guys like, and I'm gonna point this out because everybody like, now, granted, Trevor Ariza was a very good defender, could knock down shots. I had him on my fantasy team. Trevor was shooting absolutely horrible outside of a few games. Looking like Melo or a little worse than Melo. Because Trevor wasn't cracking 20 points 4 times, I don't believe. Now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong because I had to get him off my fantasy team because he wasn't playing that well at all. You know what I mean? He had a game where he had like 5 or 6 threes. And after that, he was 4-15, 4-14 and stuff like that. And everybody raves about Trevor Ariza. So now you're going to say he don't play no defense. And let's talk about the culture of the whole team. Mike D'Antoni, he never practiced defense. When have you ever known a Mike D'Antoni team to be a great defensive team? You never seen it. All they focus on is strictly offensive side of the basketball. Get up and down and get up shots. That's been the way he coached the whole time in his whole coaching career. And everybody know it. So much that Skip Bayless called him Mike Antoni. Take the D out because his teams don't play defense. So for everybody to just go up and say, oh, it's Carmelo's fault why the team like this. It's Carmelo's fault why they losing. No. You got to go to the head of the snake. James got to have some ownership in it too. He had 40 the other day, but he was playing inconsistent. Chris Paul playing inconsistent, playing terrible as well. The same game Melo went like 1 for 8 or something crazy like that. Chris Paul played absolutely horrid. So you got to look at him too. You know, like, I get it. Carmelo is not the same player he used to be. I get it. But it's like, when I see a dude put up 20 at least 4 times in the season, we like what? 13, 14 games, 15 games in? Is it 15, 16 games, something like that in? So, we early in the season. Early. How can you say, oh, he ready, like he gone. He deserved to be gone right now. I know a lot of dudes right now, and I'm looking at the fantasy scores, playing like bums. And ain't nobody advocating for them to get out the league. It's funny, because if Carmelo was to get cut today, and the Golden State Warriors would pick him up. As much as I hate the Golden State Warriors, if the Golden State Warriors picked him up, y'all would say Golden State cheating right now. Y'all would say they cheating. Now, my thing is, how would a team be cheating if you think this player is unplayable and he's terrible? So that let me know Carmelo still can hoop. Y'all would definitely say Golden State was cheating if he went to the Warriors. And I know that for a fact. Oh, they cheating some more. You know what I mean? They cheating some more. Because, you know, for any given night, Carmelo could go for 20. You just never know. He can hit 5, 6, 7 threes. He can do that. And I just don't like how he being disrespected like from now on. Like, he's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't care what nobody say, he needs to be first ballot. Because perennial all-star like that kept the Denver Nuggets relevant, took them to the playoffs his first time there. Although I'm a huge LeBron James fan, that's my favorite player. Carmelo deserved that Rookie of the Year because he took his team to the playoffs and Bron didn't. So, over 20,000 points. Anytime 20,000 points is a lot of buckets. Anytime you got that, you legit. I think Melo almost at 25,000, something like that. So, I mean, lean team. Nah, we know he only made one deep push in the playoffs with on his own team. Where he was a clear leader of the team, made one deep push, and that was in, well, I forgot what year that was. That was in Denver, but when they went up against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Other than that, Melo he ain't never went deep in the playoffs, but you got to give it to that man. Strictly off the great player that he was. Had one of the smoothest offensive packages I've ever seen in this league. I ain't talking about the easiest points. I'm saying they look buttery smooth. Like every time he scored that jab, spin move, and then a J, he jab, spin move, and a J. That was always smooth. Always pretty, man. So I don't like how people are trying to play him like he's just this bomb. And I know his dudes in the league right now he better than. You got Tony Snell in the league, and Carmelo ain't in it. Like, come on, dog. Like, for real? For real? We got Cameron Payne in the league, and y'all trying to push Carmelo out? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be playing with me right now, man. That's how I know. It's just some clownish stuff going on. The same way they was trying to push out D Rose and say he was unplayable. Everybody on these news media, the television news media, is regurgitating the same practice speech about how he's unplayable. It's Carmelo fault, this and that. I'm a big Max Kellerman fan. Max leading the narrative that Carmelo has done and he's terrible. I'm a big Chris Broussard fan. He's saying Melo should retire. I'm like, why? Like, no, he not the reason they losing. Stop it. Stop it, man. Y'all, nah, man. I'm not pushing with that, man. I'm not riding with that. I'm riding with Melo, and I hope he found him a new home because it's clear, evident. I had to drop him from my fantasy team because it's looking like he's not going to return to the Houston Rockets. Hopefully he can find him somewhere else to go. They saying maybe the 76ers. I don't know where he could go. I doubt they're bringing him to LA, but I don't know. They saying 76ers, so we going to see what's to come of that in the future, but I'm not riding with this whole push Carmelo out the league. Same thing they tried to do with D Rose, say he was done. You know, they tried nah. I'm not advocating for it, man. I'm riding with Melo. Surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, 20,000 buckets. What, he like a 10, 12 time, 13 time All-Star? Come on, man. He ride it out. He was absolutely solid. Great for 14 years. 14, 15 years, man. 2 years ago, he was still averaging 22, almost 23, basically 23 a game in New York. And he done already? Come on, man. Stop. No. Salute to Melo, man. They trying to get you out of this league, but I'm riding with that man. Y'all need to stop it.